How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. 3 men up. James is over in Australia at the moment, so big up James on the holiday. To be honest, I wish I was somewhere else right now as well. Off the back of what is the end of the season, or the Premier League season for sure. But we're going to talk about it, people. Obviously, hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed, put a notification bell on, do all of that stuff. It's going to be one of those ones. If you're one of those that have ears that are sensitive to the reality of a situation, I'd advise you to probably turn off now. But yeah, we moved. We got Jordan and Lee, who are in the building, who haven't managed to get away to Australia just yet. But yeah, not great time, people. 1-0 loss, Emirates, West Ham. 11 points behind Liverpool now. Do you remember? It feels just like a few weeks ago I said we're going to start doing the pod after the Liverpool game so we can see where we're at. And where we're at is maybe we should just go back to doing them after the Arsenal games, because I don't think there's any race to be had, if there was a race at all. But yeah, we always start with Lee. Lee was there, felt it firsthand. And by felt it, I don't really know what I mean, because that game had little to feel. Even when you watch back the highlights, it was a struggle for the broadcasters to knit together a few moments for us, or chances, or opportunities. But yeah, Lee, you was there. How was it?
Shocking, mate, from start to finish. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but the atmosphere in there yesterday was quiet. The Fourever Arsenal song, which is normally everybody gets up for that, I could hear West Ham fans singing. There wasn't no energy with that. Not once did I hear the Super Mikel song. He knows exactly what he needs, because this basically that is a load of old crap, because he doesn't know what he needs. So that wasn't even sung once. I heard West Ham fans all game. I've never heard that. They've always been drowned out. It was low, flat. And this is on the back, boys, of their last home game was a 5-1 win against Manchester City. So there's got to be a reason why it was all so flat and everything like that. Now, people have been messaging me today in my groups and things like that, mentioned about the the ballot being part of the reason. People saying that fans around them weren't their normal fans. People had give up their tickets and sold them on exchange, or sold them to different people. On the back of a 5-1 win. So something must have gone on, and I'll tell you what it was. It was that the next day the window shut, with us getting not one single player. And then we've got players go down, and I'm telling you this now, there was a little bit of rumblings in the away end at Leicester until we scored those 2 goals. And there'd be rumblings now going on, and I fear for it. I fear that, there's more to come. I really don't know where we go from here. I've had people that have been very, very positive towards Mikel in basically saying, no, negligence is a word that's been used, let down. And for me, I'm hurting after that, boys. I've been not in a good place since we lost yesterday. And Turkish, don't you remember you was there yesterday in the studio when you got Julian going, this is going to be a walkover and all that. And I turned around and said, I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game, West Ham 1-0. And he went, don't be ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, West Ham, we've done this. We beat West Ham 6-0. We've beaten 5-2. We've done this. We've done this. We've done that. We've beat them more times, and the only other team we've not beaten more is Everton, was what he said, right? So I said, yes, but there's a blueprint out there to beat Arsenal, and they will use that blueprint. And my God, they did. And I don't think they really played that well, West Ham, if I'll be honest. When we played Newcastle, I thought Newcastle, yeah. We went at it against Newcastle in the game, but we was outdone by tactically and everything like that. This yesterday was a team that just turned around and said, "Let's just sit in here. They've got nothing to hit us with, and we go from there." Other people have called it, turning around and saying, "What about a change in system and whatever?" And the right thing was for me was perhaps, do you need to play a Declan Rice and a Party in midfield when you know that you've got blocks of 6? Maybe you should play just one of them and 2 attacking players. Oh, we ain't got 2 attacking players that can play that role. We went 1-0 down yesterday, boys, and our first two substitutions were 2 fullbacks. This is our elite football club. Arsenal Football Club. Elite. Elite's my arse. It's elite. As it, well, you know, I mean, we want to, you know, we've got fans that think it's elite. We've got a board that don't think it's elite. We got Champions League coming up. Then you get the people turning around. Oh, this, we've still got the Champions League. Let's put all our eggs into the Champions League basket. We've got teams coming up in the Champions League with elite forwards, not makeshift forwards, elite forwards coming, whether it be PSV or the Madrids. Elite forwards coming up to us, not makeshift there and makeshift there and whatever. That performance yesterday, and and Mikel's getting angry. I don't know why he's getting angry, because there's been plenty of them this season. The entertainment value in that first half, I've seen better. I've seen better games of Ludo and chess than what I've seen of that. Like, you know what I mean? Boring, slow, walking
Big
football.
up Ludo.
Huh?
Chess and Ludo.
Yeah.
Well, big up Ludo. Big up Ludo.
Yeah, I like Ludo. I think it's a good game. But it was, you know, it was slow, and they've seen it time and time again. Somebody said to me yesterday, "I'll behave." You know what I mean? That's our first defeat at home in the league. And I went, "All right, yeah. What about Newcastle in the FA in the League Cup? What about Man United in the FA Cup? What about all the draws? This has been coming and coming and coming. You know." And yesterday, I have to say, I look at Mikel yesterday, like, you know what I mean? He ain't got a clue how to break down teams that play a low block. He ain't got a clue. None of them have. And do you know what? He ain't got much of a clue when he's got Saka there and he's got Martinelli there, and he's got Havertz there. But when he ain't got no one, and don't tell me that Mourinho played up top yesterday, because he didn't. He played everywhere, but I see him on the left wing. I see him doing exactly what Havertz does. So don't tell me that he played centre forward yesterday, because he didn't. So you tell me what the tactics were yesterday, how to break down the team. And you have a look at West Ham's performances over the last few weeks and their results. Couldn't keep a clean sheet for love or money. All the answers there, like, boys. It's a depressing time. And at the end of it, we could have done something about it. We could have done something about it in Jack. I come home and what the hell did I do it for? I actually started watching a little bit of the Aston Villa game. 3 players that they signed, attacking players, and they're not even going for the title, by the way. 3 players that they signed, winning then the game against Chelsea. I'll say no more. It's just incredible, like, you know what I mean? And, you know, like, don't hide behind a sending off. It's a sending off. And, look, you know, you can't argue that. We was playing poor before that. And, you know, the reason it's a sending off is because Raya's playing centre half. Simple as that.
And he had probably the most exciting moment of the game for us. Imagine that, your goalkeeper at the halfway line chopping someone.
Listen.
With 30 seconds to go.
Sorry, I'll be really honest.
Fucking
if everybody's happy about that and enjoying that, like, I'd rather go that should be at West Ham in the Athletic Stadium. If I want to watch sprinting, I'll go and watch sprinting, right? If I want to watch running and sprinting, I'll go and watch athletics. I'm at that football club to watch football. And I did not see that yesterday.
Before I go,
Sorry to be
off,
doom and gloom about it, but that's how I feel. I don't know what's
what did
going
you
to
expect this
lift
one
me up.
to? I don't think anyone expected anyone to say any different. There ain't no one on this pod that's going to turn around and say, "Oh, give it a rest. We've only been, we've only lost one game in 15." Every time you mention something like that, I want to ask the age, but even that doesn't matter because I've seen young, old, mid-age, just delusion is just all over the gaff. But
When
the
they say that,
reality is,
Turkish, when they say that there's 15-game unbeaten run, right? Give yourself a pat on the back. There's a team that's gone on 24 unbeaten game run. So what are you praising for? That there's someone on a better run? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean? Got to stop making excuses and all that. A 15-game unbeaten run. If you want to win a title, that's a gimme. That ain't something to be proud about. That is a gimme. You've got to win 10 games on the spin to put yourself in that position.
And it's the reason, Lee, why. Sorry, Turkish, you want to come make a point, weren't you? Sorry, before I come in,
no.
It's the reason why I've been saying since the last defeat, which was it Bournemouth or Newcastle? What was our last defeat?
What, in the league?
Yeah,
Newcastle, I think.
Yeah,
it was a Newcastle, right?
yeah.
It's why since the Newcastle game, which I believe was end of October, November,
November.
right? It's
November the 2nd.
Since then, I've been saying we're not going to win. Okay, it's my birthday. We're not going to win the league because, and people are. I'm in WhatsApp groups, and the man them are calling me negative. And why don't you support the team? I've even been accused of not being a real Arsenal fan. Like, what? I'd rather be proven right than see my team win. And it's like, it's just laughable to me because I don't have a go at the people, guys, that kind of that live off hope, right? So we one of the people that support Arsenal that look at the positive side of it, and it's not quite over yet, and there's plenty of time, lots of games left. We didn't play well, but I don't have a go at those people because they have the right to support Arsenal as they want. If they live on the more optimistic side of life, that's how they are. That's fine. That's fine. But I'm a bit more of a realist, right? So the reason why I've been saying is November, the title is not going to come to Arsenal. It's not because I'm negative. For me to be proven wrong, people to say, see, you said back in November it was over, and now look at us top of the league. I would love nothing more than that, honestly. But the reason why I said it back then was because I'd seen enough football, even up to that point, to tell me Arsenal did not have a run in them. I know my team. And I think we were 7 points behind Liverpool then. So I knew full well we didn't have the requisite run in us to be able to catch Liverpool and over. Even back then, I knew it. So all this 15 games unbeaten. By the way, there's a few draws in there too. It's not 15 games winning run. It's 15 games unbeaten. All this run stuff is irrelevant because the lead is still 5, 7, 9, 7 points. The run doesn't matter. I knew from way back when we didn't have it in us to go on a run. And I've been proven correct the whole time. I take no joy in that. But every time Liverpool have dropped points, slipped up, we have not capitalized on their slip-ups. So for me, this is not this. I predicted a 1-0 Arsenal win, but am I shocked West Ham won? No. Was I surprised Newcastle won the Emirates 2-0? Was it 2-0? No. Was I shocked that United won at the Emirates? No, because I know my team and I watch football. I don't look at stats. I don't look at dates. I don't look at gaps in points. People telling me, "Oh, but it's only 5 points. Oh, but it's only November. It's only December." Look at the football. Look at the football. And by the way, we had Saka then. Back then, we had Bukayo Saka. And back then, I realized it's not our year this year. We're not on it. We're not on it. So when you lose Saka, Jesus, Havertz, and the flirter, what do you expect? So people that are like, "Oh, it's over now." I'm like, what have you been watching? What have you been watching? The signs have been there. When the evidence is in front of you, don't ignore it. You can have hope. I've been to plenty of Arsenal games this season. I paid my money. I support the boys. I scream. I shout. I celebrate when we score. I support my team. But I'll be damned if I'm going to be a deluded fan. I'm not an idiot. I'm not blind. I watch my team play, and there's too many things wrong for me to think this is a Premier League winning team. Plus the window in January, you don't reinforce. This is not a surprise to me. So I've been at peace with the fact that this is not going to be our year for 4 months. Everyone's going crazy after the West Ham get. I was 4 months ago, like, it's not going to happen. But for me, and I've said this consistently, it's about, just because you can't win the league doesn't mean you get to put your feet up and just lock off. No, you better push Liverpool. Push Liverpool. And the disappointing thing for me now is that the way it's looking, we're not even going to push Liverpool. Final point, after the Man City win 5-1, I was saying to you guys, I felt that was top 2 locked off. I didn't think anybody else could put together the necessary run to catch us. I thought we'd secured second. We'll get to the Forest predictions later on, but spoiler alert, I think we'll lose. I think we'll lose to Forest on when was it? Wednesday, whenever it is. I think we're going to lose. And then I think that puts them a couple of points behind us. 3 points.
I think they're 6 behind us now. If I'm not mistaken, it's not up. I don't care.
So it's just one of them ones where this poor really end up falling apart because of lack of mismanagement, poor recruitment. It is done. It is done.
You see, after United, when I said beginning of the end, this is what I meant. Because when you're getting knocked, by that point, first leg, Emirates 2-0 to Newcastle, you're out of the Carabao Cup. All right, there's some optimism there. Newcastle's form dips off. We're out of the Carabao Cup. We knew what was going on. United, FA, that was the beginning of the end, because it was, like you said, it was always a stretch to expect us to maintain good enough form to capitalize on the inevitable, which was Liverpool will drop points. They haven't been immaculate. They haven't had great performance after great performance. They've had chinks in their armor along the way. Credit to them. They're the best team in the league and they deserve this league title. And they go and match United with the most league titles in the, on top of all the trophies they have won. But it was always a stretch to expect that. Before Lee said it, right? He said Arteta didn't know what he was doing with the attack already there. I mentioned it in my fan camp. The injuries have also, there's a certain type of Arsenal fan, and I think you're mentioning it, Jordan. Lee maybe flirted with it, but you cannot just live in a land where it's always an excuse for it, always a reason for it, always a get out of jail because of this card. The reality is this is elite sports. It's the top level of football. It's also elite business. That's why there's such. I have to keep on mentioning the thin line between a customer and a proper fan. Let's call it whatever someone's definition of a proper fan is. There's a thin line because that's what it is now. And when I do look at the stadium and I see it emptying, because obviously Lee started with the stadium and whether it's a ballot or whatnot. People change, life changes. Arsenal Football Club is not what we all grew up on here. I can say that because James ain't here right now, because we all grew up on Arsenal Football Club, not Football Company. We didn't grow up on Arsenal Football Company. We grew up on Arsenal Football Club. Whereas a lot of the new gen, 20 years, since the Invincibles and whatnot, they're growing up on Arsenal Football Company. So they're not going to feel as connected at times like we did back then. Because it felt more like our football club. It doesn't feel like I'm talking for myself personally. It doesn't feel like the same football club I supported back in them days. And them days, Lee will mention it. We wasn't winning year in, year out. We wasn't close to being the best team in the country at the point I started actually supporting. But in Europe, far from it. Things just started building when I was younger. Lee went through difficult time before. Like, obviously, I didn't grow in that. But it's not a divine right to win. But it's about challenging. It's about doing enough off the pitch. So you cannot turn around at the end of the season and have excuses.
Turkish, you make the point there, which is so right. And look, when I first started up following Arsenal, I never ever thought we was going to win the league. Liverpool was so much better than us, and it was better, just trying to get to the FA Cup, doing whatever. It was never about that. Then George Graham come along and give us that. But what's happened this month, right? As a Arsenal fan, and it's not about winning. It's never been that for me. It's about I've always said it. You've got no divine right to win for trophies, but you've got to. Arsenal as a football club should be challenging, right? Now, I am hurt today. Like Jordan's accepted it a little while ago, but I am hurt by what's happened because the reality was for me. I always felt there was a glimmer of hope with them playing Man City today. Because don't get me wrong, if Arsenal win that game yesterday, that was a different game today, by the way, right?
Yeah,
that wouldn't have been. That was a different game. Don't get that wrong. It's a different game, right? Then they had Newcastle. There would have been a little pressure on.
I'm not sure, Lee.
Well, that's. I think there is because there's a little bit more pressure on it. But, I've watched a lot of.
Sorry, I know you mid flows. I know you mid flow, Lee. Sorry to cut you there, but I want to make the point very quickly before you carry on. The reason why I don't fully agree with that is because is there a delay? There's a delay, isn't there? Sorry, guys.
What's going on with
So
your internet?
can you hear me okay now?
We can hear you, but it's not in
know.
conjunction with your video.
Yeah,
Say that.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry, Lee, carry on. Sorry, let me sort my stuff out, and I'll come back.
What I'm saying is, you're playing games when you know that I've played games when you're playing a team. The teams drop points before, and it makes you change a little bit differently, So I'm not, Jordan could be right. I'm not saying he ain't, but I'm just saying what it is, right? What happens for me is then, right? You go into January. We've now come into January, Turkish. We've come into January. We're in the FA Cup. We're in the League Cup. We've got a transfer window, right? Yeah. And when we've won, we've then played in the FA Cup. We get knocked out. We get knocked out of the League Cup, right? Now we go into the January transfer window when we could have done things in there to keep ourselves in these competitions. For whatever reason, we chose not to. And that is where it really hurts me more than anything now. Now we can't win the league, right? Because I believe now 11 points would be the minimum that Liverpool win it by. I think it would probably be even more. But what I'm saying is, I've watched Arsenal for how many years, right? We've won 4 or 5 titles in those times, right? So majority of the time, guys, I've never thought we're never going to win the title. Do you see what I'm saying? But we have a chance to win the title this season. And this football club, this owner, this manager chose not to do anything to give us the opportunity to win this football league. Now, next season, you might buy all these players and still come nowhere near what chance you had in January. You might never get 5 points close. But you had the opportunity, and it has done me in. I've had the slap in the face or the kick in the goalies going out of the cup against Man United when we should never have gone out. At home, going out to Newcastle at home, even though it's over 2 legs, but that one that was cost us. I've seen us lose the league now at home. I'm probably going to see us lose the Champions League like I did last season against Bayern Munich at home. Like it will either be like PSV or it will be Bayern Munich. We'll get something at home when we've not got the right tools to get the job done. And you had an opportunity and you done nothing. And I think going out of the cup, going out of the League Cup is bad enough. But do you know what? When you've got a chance to win the Premier League trophy was in your stadium last year. You all see it. We didn't see it, but those board members, that manager, see it, and you do nothing is the biggest kick in the goalies I've had in January. And I'm down. I'm deflated. What hope have we got now? 3 months left of the season. It's done. And listen, all these teams like Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham, all can laugh at us and all that. Like their seasons went ages ago. Aston Villa are not in a title race, but I see them with a desire and a hunger far better than my football club. Hurts.
I don't even know where to continue it because it's just going to be continual moaning. But
I'll tell you another thing. Do you want me to go on another thing that's racked my brains in the last 24 hours? I ain't slept over it. But I'm going to mention it now because he's my favourite player, but I'm damn going off of him. A little word of advice, Mr. Declan Rice. Get over it. West Ham do not like you no more. They don't respect you no more. They don't like you because you left that football club, right? Get over it and start playing for the Arsenal. Because 2 times now, because of you and your performances, we have lost to West Ham, and that has cost you 2 titles, my son, right? Because you haven't got the whatever to throw them away like they're dusted with you. Dust them. Forget about West Ham Football Club. They don't want to know you no more. They don't like you. They're slagging you off when you went and done a corner yesterday. Do not get it up by it no more. Deal with it. Wipe your mouth. Have nothing to do. West Ham are finished for you, right? They don't want you. They don't like you. But what you've got to do now is win trophies. And twice now, they've cost you a title, mate, because you've not performed in 2 games.
Isn't it 3, Lee?
No. He's only been here
Isn't it 3, Lee? Didn't he play in the cup game?
The cup game.
No. But the league. Didn't he play in the league cup game?
Yeah. No. He came on as a sub, but we wasn't up for that game. But what I'm saying
all
is,
right.
If we beat West Ham last season, we win the league. Right? He was unbelievably bad again. Like, I'm a massive fan of Declan Rice. I love him. But every time, I don't know what it is. But he's got to grow a bit more about this one, because at the end of the day, they don't like you, mate. They don't like you. They don't care what you've done for them. Singing to you should have signed for a bigger club. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't going to win nothing and all that. Like, you know what I mean? And you don't perform. Forget about them. You're an Arsenal player now, like, you know what I mean? Every single Arsenal fan loves you. And there might be a day when you can go back there and they will love you again, because you know what football fans are like. We're all fickle. You know what I mean? That's how it is. But at this moment in time, they can't stand you. You've shown them that West Ham, whether they like it or not, by you leaving them, you've shown that Arsenal are a bigger club. And they don't like that. And I get that. I get that. But you've just got to move on now from it, like, you know what I mean? I don't ever want to see you clapping them no more, all of this and all that, like, you know what I mean? What's he clapping them for when they're all calling him whatever? Just get yourself down, win the game. Get over there and give it to them.
Jordan.
I think I agree, by the way. I think for me, I mean, yeah, we should maybe get some solutions, not maybe to complete 1 hour of us moaning. But I guess my final moan would be, let's at least try.
Internal or external?
On Sunday night, by the way, and I'm still fuming about that. I'm sorry, I am.
You know
why?
Because what's that? I just heard. No, we're good. The season's done, essentially. We need to, if we don't beat PSV, mid-March, our season's done. Done. Because 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, you can add 5th and 6th into that as well when you see what the club have done since returning into the Champions League. It doesn't really matter. It's all the same. You haven't won. And that's why it's upsetting. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, and when I come to think of Arsenal at some point, or talk about Arsenal at some point, the realization is the energy is gonna slowly but surely dwindle out, because there's how often can I do this? Because I've been doing this since transfer window summer, since Sterling signed. I've been moaning, groaning, saying it's coming. How much more can we do it? But then the transfer window hits, and the most people will forget about what happened in the season, or forget about what happened last transfer window, and then it'll be just something else that, we'll link to that person, and then that will be the running theme, and then we'll get a couple bodies in for sure, but we're gonna be light again next season. And Arteta, listen, he's doing what Wenger used to do. He's doing what Wenger used to do. He's their shield now.
Do you know?
As a manager, I think he's a good manager. I think he's a manager that will win stuff eventually. I don't know if it's here or somewhere else. He will win stuff. But what he's doing now, his role for us now, is to try and win. Do your best to win. But if you don't win, don't moan and groan.
Do
You're paid
you know
well.
when all the Arsene Wenger stuff come about, right? You know, and people will always ask you this question, like when was the day? When did you want Arsene Wenger to go and all that? Like, you know, when was the day? Birmingham all in the cup final and all that. Like, not for me. I remember coming out of that Birmingham Cup final. People moaning and going, I can't believe it. We've got injuries. I'm making excuses. Fabregas had got injured in the midweek. If he plays that game, we win that game. Blah, 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 blah. So they go to me, when was it? And it weren't one game. It weren't a game of football. It weren't a result. It was a transfer window when he just bought a goalkeeper. When we all knew that he needed midfield players that season. Love and behold, we go to West Brom away. We lose Cazorla and Arteta, funny enough, on that day. We end up drawing that game or lose. I can't remember. We missed a penalty in the last minute. Anyway, season crumbled. I don't know what that year was now. Here we are again, chasing the title. This transfer window, nothing was done. And I'm sorry, like, you know, I got no sympathy for Mikel Arteta. He's got the and he's raging on the liner. I've got no sympathy. You deserve everything that comes to you because you've done nothing in this January window. And I'm done with the football club because of that January transfer window. It let me down more than results, whatever. I can't stress it how much, like, you know, and don't think that his hands are not clean on that. And the other thing is now, you know, Edu going like there's something went on there. I'm telling you.
100%.
Something went on
100%. Without a shadow of a doubt. He's still on gardening leave. If it was amicable, he would either see out his role or he'd be gone. Either or. It's not amicable when a man's just on gardening leave and he's just out there. That's probably they ain't got enough to sack him, but they're pissed off with him enough to keep him away from the business. That's what gardening leave is. That's suspended, basically, right? If something went on there, but it's all bullshit, Lee. Same shit, different smell. Same shit, same smell. We've been here before. You mentioned we've been here before. We've been here before with the way the transfer windows are run. We've been here before in terms of how much our managers paid, because Wenger was the highest paid in Europe whilst fighting for top four and finishing in Europe for years. That didn't make sense. Neither does Arteta's wages this time round. We're hearing the same things from the interviews and the press conferences in different ways. War chest is now unprecedented summer. Market opportunities, right player, used to be only world-class talent from Wenger. And then he'll go sign Shamak. Man, been through some bullshit with this fucking club and people want to call me negative when I see it coming from afar. And then it all resets when the transfer window opens again or the season ends, game week 38. This is the only time we have a voice, whether it's really online, because like I said, even online, it shifts to the transfer window, or whether it's at matches, because there's only matches in a season. But the next stage of what people are going to say to me moaning is, oh, give it a rest, man. The season's done. Like, stop moaning about it. Get over it. That's the next. I've seen this stage before. Well, we've challenged for a title twice. Every other year before that was similar stages like this, where the season trophy-wise is gone out of our hands. In the Emirates era, we've had more seasons end in January and February than we have in March, April, or May. I don't even know if that's a fact, but it's a fact. If you get what I'm saying, I haven't done no research on that. It's just here and just the feeling. We've challenged for a title three and a half times in the Emirates era. 3.5 times we've challenged for a title. 3.5 times we've challenged for a fucking title in 21 years. 3.5. And these ownerships still get, you know, and they're gonna skirt all of the pressure and noise, because when the time does come and it all falls apart, because if they continue the way I think they're going to continue, and they've showed in the last 3 windows, then it's going to fall apart and there's going to be a new manager eventually. Another reset. trust another process, another manager, and then they get away with it again. Maybe Josh gives it to his nephew, and it's a new man in charge, or maybe niece, and it's a new Kroenke in charge, and it's all like, "Hey, make sure you paint over that mural." But I'm disgusted, and I've seen this club do some bullshit. I'm disgusted that this club did usually they'll throw in a loan. Dennis Suarez, Kim Kallstrom. They'll throw in something just to, when you're starving, they'll just throw you breadcrumbs. This time around, they said starve. That's what they said. And it's very rare they've done.
I think it's affected the Emirates yesterday. I really did.
Of course it has, though, Lee. Lee, I don't have a season ticket anymore. I don't have a season ticket anymore because I don't want it. I'm good. I love Arsenal Football Club. I love Arsenal Football Club. People cannot question my love for this club. Do you know the fucking memories I've been at Highbury, Emirates? The memories I've seen myself with friends, with family. What I've got here. Some I've worn, some I've collected. What I've got in boxes. I look at it and I'm just I miss Arsenal Football Club. And the younger generation ain't gonna get what I'm saying. Uncle or back in my day, guy, I get that, but this ain't Arsenal Football Club. Since the Kroenkes came in, it became Arsenal Football Company. That's what it became, and that is the bottom line. They didn't. I've said it before. They didn't give up on nothing in January. They're on track. They didn't give up on nothing. They're on track. Champions League football. They don't care. You think these men don't know about football? It's a facade. Josh Kroenke coming in. Please, where are they now? Athletic, where are they? Where are all the reports and all the PR that used to come out? This drops at 7 a.m. I wouldn't be surprised if at 8 a.m. merch drops tomorrow morning. I wouldn't be surprised. I see him wearing a black jacket, all black. It probably drop tomorrow. All black, so you can escape into the shadows because our season is done. That's the new merch coming out at 8 a.m.
I had new tops
when this show is done, go get the Ghost Dark Shadow merch because everyone needs to hide because this was meant to be our season. We've challenged for a title 3.5 years.
Like this, though, Turkish, if we're feeling like this, what are the players feeling? What are the likes of Declan?
But that's what the same Lee. Fabregas said it. Nasri said it in different ways, disrespectfully, but Fabregas said it respectfully. Van Persie's letter said it. You know what? You know, sometimes I read that letter just randomly. I'll be sitting sometimes and I'll just search RVP letter and I'll read it. I loved RVP, but that was the guy that was the last straw in terms of I hate him for what he done, but it's the club that done it really. But I still can't get over seeing him do what he did at United the next season against Southampton, debut hat-trick. Vermaelen mistake, goal against Arsenal first 10 minutes. Rooney ball over the top volley. Game-winning, Premier League winning match. It's in there. It's fun. Why do I fucking know this like this? Because I loved him at one point. This club went and done that. Read the letter. If you ever need to remind yourself what this club is on, go read that letter. He's in my opinion, one of my most, I say hated people, but hate is I'd still love to interview him one day to really delve into, because he was quite honest with the letter. And as much as I hate what he did, and to be honest, hate him. I can't even skirt around it. I respect him for the letter because many other players left over that time and didn't care enough to say it like Fabregas or say it like Van Persie. Wenger didn't care enough to say it. Wenger didn't care enough to say it like Fabregas and Van Persie did. So how's Arteta got the credit that he ain't got that credit? So he's definitely here next season, right? So I know that question's going to come in and out the rest of the season. He's definitely here. In the first 2-3 months, if we are not in pole position or near enough immaculate, but in and around with Liverpool or City or whoever else steps up, then it should be curtains if you had a board that actually believed this process would lead somewhere, but have realized it's failed. We don't have that board.
Well, I think it's massive for him in the summer.
We could be fifth. We could be fifth in November, Lee. November 2025. We could be fifth. his job wouldn't be on the line.
No, I think it will be.
No,
I
because
think it
that's
will be,
one
yeah.
place from top 4. We'll be there next. See
Nah.
you in 9 months. That'll be the next.
Well,
That'll be the next realization that we'll be about 5th, 4th, maybe. And then
he's got to bring home one of the big things next season. He's got to bring the league or the Champions League next season, especially with the budget or the money he's going to have or whatever. Let's wait and see on that.
What, the war chest?
Well, we'll wait and see. We'll see what that is because
they need to dig that war chest from 2011 out because we still ain't opened that one yet, man. We got good war chest reserves, you know. I'm telling you, there must be some jewels in there, rare. The market's inflated. It's, you know, the amount of time we've been sitting on that. Fuck, you know, we're rich.
There has to be a madness next season because, you know, we've spent nothing in the last 3 years. The last 3 transfer windows, 5 million we spent net. So, and people keep telling me, like, I was speaking to a financial bloke saying, it's the Champions League money doesn't come in to that. He was saying also the money for Smith Rowe ain't on this year's books. It'll be on the next ones, same as Eddie. So we get more money over that. So it should be about, Arsenal should be allowed to spend around about 300 million in this transfer window because of that. And things like that. Like, we'll see.
That is the number that's interesting.
After this January window, I ain't got no confidence in anything at this moment in time. But as I say, you know what I mean? Like, listen, going back to Van Persie and Fabregas, I never had the hump with them. I understood exactly why they wanted to leave.
I was younger, so I really,
I understand exactly there. Well, you know, you want to win things. And at the end of the day, it's great when the club turns around and says, we've got to make sure we're in top 4 and all that. Like, that's fantastic when you get the younger players coming in as we did. But eventually, they want to win things, and so that was always going to happen. And the thing is, like, you know, what worries me now is that I love all the players that we've got now. They've been fantastic over the last couple of years, but they're not like me and you and Jordan and all of us. They can leave at any stage. We can't. You know what I mean? We can't go up and go and support another team and all that. You just cannot do it. Like, you know, we're in for it for life. They will go. You know, Thierry Henry, is another one.
Yeah,
he left Arsenal and then said I was reading an interview the other day saying I come back when I played and scored against Leeds as a supporter, but he still left. What did he leave for? To get trophies, you know what I mean, like the Champions League and whatever, like, you know. And don't forget, he already had championships here, but he knew that he could not win the Premier League again, and he knew that he couldn't win the Champions League with Arsenal. So he left, even though he loved the club and all that, like, and come back. You know, so these players you got, like, I think there's a big worry for me now about Saliba. I don't know what he's thinking.
He's probably
gone. By the way, he's going to have to defend a lot better than what he has done this season if he wants to get to Real Madrid. I'll be honest with you, like, you know what I mean. He ain't been, I think, as great this season as he has been in the last couple. But you know, he's still young, still learning. But you know, like, you sold a dream to Declan Rice, £100 million, £105 million, and you know, if I'm Declan Rice, I'm going, well, what are we doing? When's the striker coming in? When's the next midfield player coming in? You know, 2 years. Like, we could have won things in those last couple of years, as I said. Like, and if he'd have got his arse in gear against West Ham, we could have still done it. But at the end of the day, he's not. You know, at the end of it, there's going to be a time when these players are going to turn around and say, "Hold on a minute. If I'm Saliba or I'm Declan Rice, I'm going to be very, very interested in this transfer window as much as what we are."
No, 100%.
It's a big summer because, you know, a lot of those guys, a lot of our top guys are in that 2 years to go bracket. I mean, we've always heard that's the 2 years left on the contracts when you go to renew, right? You're in a strong position as a club. If they don't want to sign, you sell them that summer. But as you've just said there, Lee, if I'm Saliba, if I'm Saka, even Saka, but this is idea that because Saka is Hale End, Saka will stay. Saka, why? Why? If Saka's not convinced that this is a club where he can win things, let's not be complacent and assume that just because
Yeah,
Saka's one of our own, that he'll stay. He will go. So it's going to be an awkward summer going to those guys to renew their contracts. If when they ask, cool, who's coming in, and you don't have the sufficient names to kind of convince them they can win things here, they're going to be like, well, no, I'm not signing an extension. I'm not. And then before you know it, you then go into the 18-month bracket. And then when it's the 18-month bracket, the chitter chatter starts. And then before you know it, you're into the last year. And then we've seen this film before. But for me, just want to make one quick point that, watching the Liverpool game earlier on, and Lee, you mentioned that you thought that the result may have been different if Arsenal had won yesterday. It might have been. But the reason why I don't think
the game would have been different. There would have been a little bit more of an edge to it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sure. And you literally, you could be correct. You could be right. But the reason why pre-match I predicted, I went for a 3-1 Liverpool win, was because Liverpool can deal with pressure. They can deal with pressure. Arsenal can't deal with pressure. When it really gets on top, we can go on these nice little cute runs, 15 games unbeaten. But when it really matters, forget even under Arsene Wenger, but look at Arteta's reign. When it really, really matters, they just can't deal with the pressure. They can't. So I don't really have any faith that had we have won that game yesterday, the Liverpool wouldn't have played the same game today. Liverpool weren't great today. Man City are bad. Man City are not good, right? But Liverpool weren't brilliant today. I've seen that game from Liverpool 10 times this season. In second gear, not amazing, not spectacular, but they get the job done. That game was Liverpool had that game in control from the kickoff. It was light work, but they have an ability to see out pressure. When Salah needs to step up, he's the guy. Van Dijk at the back, I've got this. Alisson doing nothing stupid, and then you've got workers in front. We don't seem to have that. I know we've got injuries, but we don't. We need. I'm looking forward now because we need to look forward to next season. Now, let's be real. We need to bring in the guys that we trust that can really, really deliver when it gets on top. Not when it's sunny in August and September, 3 p.m. kickoffs, and it's lovely sunshine out, and it's yay,
you know how
flicks
much
and
we
olays
gotta
and
do.
3-0 wins. Times like Christmas.
We got to do a lot.
Sorry, go on.
We've got to do a lot already.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to use our manager's words from years ago. You've got to maximize every window or you fall behind. We haven't maximized 3 in a row. We've fallen behind in my personal view of a complete squad. Because Partey, Jorginho go, cool. The Zubimendi stuff, is it true? Let's just say it is. He comes in. Okay, cool. What about the creative midfielder that we still need, that we've been crying out for years, that he's failed with each and every time? Lokonga, Havertz, Marino. Because at the end of the day, there was no midfield injuries against West Ham yesterday. None, right? Zinchenko's the first person on in midfield. We need a goal. No midfield injuries, and Zinchenko's the midfielder that comes on. We've never done that. So as much as the attack is ripped to shreds with injuries, and that is unfortunate, and it hides the poor squad management in attack for now, because let's not forget, while Saka was still playing, he was the get out of jail card. The midfield is complete. We have a complete set of cards in midfield. We need a goal. We need to create some more. We bring Zinchenko on. Our midfield ain't right. Our attack, we know, ain't right. And soon, like you lot said, none of these men, Saliba and these men ain't signing a new contract. They're going to go into the next year and see how it plays out. Like Lee said, they're going to see the names that come in. But the reality is, I don't know if feeding Mancesco and whoever else they have in mind is going to be that, you know, like Lee said, when you have opportunities, you need to go and take them. We've had opportunities in each and every one of our last 3 seasons. Some might say we tried in some, when you try and maybe go for a Mudryk or a Caicedo and with a Jorginho and Trossard. Fair enough. But this last one, there is no excuses. Lone players. You mentioned Aston Villa. I wouldn't have taken Rashford. I'll be honest with you. But I would have taken Aston Saldo. He scored 2 goals. Who knew? Even West Ham brought on a forward that they brought on loan in January. Evan Ferguson. He hasn't done anything yet. But it's a forward they brought on. another example. Come on, man. It's just, yeah. Anyway, what about the game?
Well, listen, talking about the game, you know, I don't want to keep going negative, but and this is the problem we've got in a minute. Martin Odegaard is just off form. He's just completely gone off form.
Lee, sorry, can I cut you again there, Lee? Sorry, I keep cutting you, Lee. But now is in the time. But there needs to be what I think about our whole midfield. But there needs to be a chat we need to have about Martin Odegaard at some point towards the back end of the season, because I wonder, is he just a really poor run, or is there a reality that we may potentially need to face that he just isn't the guy? I'm not saying that is how I feel. I love Odegaard. He's a wizard, right? But the reality might be that he's a nice, cute guy, but he isn't the guy. And again, I'm looking at Liverpool's team. They've got players that just they're the guy. They got 3 or 4 guys in that squad that you're like, yeah. I wonder if Odegaard is nice and cute, but actually, if we're being ruthless,
I think in defense of him first, I think what Arteta's done to the structure and the instructions of the squad over the last couple of years has had an impact on every attacking player in some way, shape, or form. And I think Odegaard's he's had a big impact there. Secondly, I think now that creativity and goal scoring has become a major problem for us. We look at the number 10 position as a position all for that. I think his attributes suit a number 8. You know, I think we've needed another creative midfielder for a long time. You know, I wish it was a Musiala or a Wirtz, but yeah, I know this club. I'll be dreaming by saying those names. I know Musiala signed a contract or whatever, but you know, we've been crying out for that. But you see what I saw when Trossard running down the left, and you're the only person near him, and you decide to run all the way past 3 other West Ham players, putting 4 West Ham players in between you and Trossard. I've never seen stupidity like that on the football pitch since maybe I can't even tell you another moment I've seen that.
I've watched that. I'm going to stick up for him a little bit on this. Right?
You might say because people might have said to you, Lee, but the goal the other day that Marino scored, it was a very, very different circumstance.
No. I'm gonna. You might not think I'm silly in it. I actually felt that he done that run to try and get him one-on-one, make it one-on-one. If
that's one I heard. Like, how many times you seen?
I don't know why he done it. And scored. I look at it and I can see why it's bad, but I do look at it from a point of view is if he stays on that run or gets close to him, they can get close to him. If he can take one of those defenders away, it makes him give a little bit more space for a one.
He was basically through on goalie. How do you go from through on goal?
I don't know if he was, sir. I think it was. I don't think he would. I think the defender would have cut out the ball. I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just saying that's why I think that he done that run. I think that if you can open it, take one of them away, he's got the ability to go on one-on-one. I don't know. You'd have to ask him on that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to say.
I don't think he knows what happened.
Well, you know,
he malfunctioned.
I don't think it is as bad as what everybody's been making out of it. I will say this on him, like, you know, two things where I will give him a little bit of credit in the bank. I think the injury at the beginning of this season is a big thing. If you've ever had an injury like an ankle injury or a long-term injury, it can take you a very, very long. Even though you're fit, there's still a trust in it. Like I've seen him go down 6 or 7 times when he's been kicked on it and all that. I don't know if you've ever, you know, we've all played football, we've all had injuries. If you get like an injury, guarantee, like, you know, if you've got a bad toe or someone kicks you in that exact place in the game, it just happens. So I do think there's something on those lines. So I don't think he's been quite 100%. I don't know if he doesn't look the same player as well. Like, you know, I mean, like, he doesn't. He looks like he needs a good dinner inside him at times. I don't know what's gone on with him there. I think that may have something to do with it. Yeah, it does. You know what I mean? Like,
as he came back from injury, his face looked really gaunt.
Yeah,
he lost a lot of weight in his face.
Yeah, it's not a lot. You know. Now listen, when you become a fit, you do lose a lot. You have a look at a lot of athletes; they always lose it in their face first. It's one of those things. I don't know. It just doesn't seem the same physique, same everything this season. So that's one thing in that. But he he is so out of form at this moment in time. He shouldn't be playing, boys.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm going to go in now. Like, he should be dropped. He should be left out. But he ain't got no one. Wanyeri could play that role. But then you can't put Wanyeri. You got to play Wanyeri out wide at this moment in time. He's got to play through it. And sometimes when you're playing that bad and things are not going well for you, you just need to be. Do you know what? Take a break, have a couple of games on the bench or something. We can't even do that, boys. We cannot even do that because we haven't got no one. Now there was talk about some kid from Norway coming in the January. So that never happened neither. That was like nailed on at one stage, wasn't it? Like a £10 million wonder kid or something. I don't know, but something's got to happen because he cannot carry on playing like he is at this moment in time. Everything's breaking down on him. His passing is atrocious. His touch, I think there's 3 times he could have gone through on goal on at the weekend, but his touch lets him down. He's just playing bad, lads. And listen, we've all been there. We've all had bad little runs and things like that. One is you work your way through it. Sometimes you have all your better players come back and that makes you click. I don't know, but he's just he shouldn't be playing at this moment in time. He shouldn't be on current form because it's just not good enough.
If only we had a Portuguese wonder kid from a few years ago still in the squad. That didn't work out either. He's on loan somewhere else, isn't it? Oh yeah, here we are. Yeah, we're fucked. That's ultimately it, people. 57 minutes in. That rounds up the first 57 minutes because
it's not been great, is it? Like, what's the positives? We've got a game on Wednesday. We can get 3 points.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the you inevitably get positive comments, and I'm interested to see how this one swings for them. Can't really find the light for that crowd.
Listen, I think what you got, Wednesday's another day. I mean, I'm not looking forward to the game because I don't think we're good enough to win any game at this moment in time with the firepower up front. I don't think, I think if you really look at it, we was poor against Leicester, but as I've always said, and people laugh at me and they say the striker covers up 1,000 sins. And it does, you you said it today, Jordan, like you didn't think Liverpool were that great, but there he is banging in another goal. Sometimes that's what it does, and you don't worry about it so much when you got someone like that. But someone said something to me yesterday, which is a good. Do you remember back in the day, even like, say if you didn't go to a game, like obviously when Ian Wright was playing in that sort of era and that, like, and I was still playing, so you go and you go at half time. The old man would come down from the stand and I'd say, "How the Arsenal getting on? 2-0, right? Wright's got one. Wright's got one. Wright's got one. How they getting on today, Dad? 1-0, right?" We don't get that no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like Omri, like other teams on, like, you know what I mean? Like Isak. We've got to get that. We've got to get that forward at some stage. And going to Forest, who's going to score for Arsenal? I don't know. I don't know really. Like, but I just hope someone does. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel at this moment in time. So
what do we do?
I'm still going to back the team to win, but if I'll be really honest, I'm going to go with my heart more than my head for this one. And plus, I ain't going to win it this year anyway. So it.
What lineup do we go with? What do we do? Because
well, Ryan's got to go up top after that little run, and he, like, you know what I mean? Full jokes aside, he done more than anybody out on the outfield. I don't know.
He's got. I think he's got to change it. What he's doing is not working.
What?
He hasn't got a lot of options. Huh?
3 at the back.
Yeah, might have to, man.
I don't know. Maybe
we've got the resources for it.
Calafiori,
and Saliba.
1 up front. Try and get down the flanks. I don't know.
I think he's got to look at changing things up for next season anyway. I don't think this system is going to work for next season. So you might as well
kind of found out, Jordan. Been found
out. I agree. I don't have any solutions, but it's not working. And if we lose this game, Forest are on us because we got United next.
Away, yeah.
Yeah,
Then
that's
Fulham
not
at home.
easy, no.
Not easy games.
Yeah, this could
Chelsea.
this could be a difficult month coming up.
Let me bring up the table, man, because I ain't got nothing to say about that game. There's the table, people. No one got any points. So James is still top, Jordan's still second, Lee's still third, I'm still fourth. James has sent in his prediction. He's gone for 0-0. That's what he's gone for this one.
Oh, bloody hell.
3-1.
What, Forest?
Forest, yeah. Yeah, I think Forest got some firepower up top. I think this is the game that we actually dread because Forest are the best team in the league at low blocking and springing. That's the one thing we struggle with. I think this could be bad. Yeah, I've got 3-1 Forest, unfortunately.
That's what West Ham got us with. I was going to say 3-1 as well, Lee.
Do you know what? I can't see Arsenal scoring more than one. I'm going to go 1-0 the Arsenal, but I can't see it. I'll probably be a draw if the best is the best. I know you guys have gone for defeats. Do I go for the draw or not? No, I'll stick to 1-0, but I can't see it. I really can't see it. I'm with you. You know what I mean? I think we'll get beat. But...
Yeah. Should I just go with 3-1? That's what I was going to go with. Should I make it 2-1? Should I make it 2-0?
Yeah, I think that'd probably be... I don't think Arsenal will score.
That's what I'm trying to think about. But we ain't scored a set piece in a while, so we might get one of those. When was the last set piece we scored?
Ooh.
Time to take down that mural as well, it seems.
I think with the set pieces, you know, Saka's gone out of it, and he like, you know what I mean? That's you know, the thing with when Saka was playing, we was getting pinpoint from either side. Now it ain't, you know what I mean? And like, you know, we took Declan Rice off, and that was his best attribute on Saturday. So, yeah, listen, you don't think teams don't work on it? They've been watching and what Arsenal do and all that, like, you know. And what was that free kick like? Oh, God. When Odegaard got in, he put it across to, and we ended up going back to the keeper. What was all that about? We're 1-0 down.
I mean, that was bad as well, Lee. I think the worst one was at the end when he let Sterling take it. Sterling, I think, has scored 4 free kicks in his whole career. Sterling is known for not being technically gifted, and at that point, I just want my captain, who's supposed to be our most technically gifted player, to say, "I've got this." If you miss, you miss. But for him to let Sterling take that, I just thought was really, really unacceptable. Really
so much unacceptable in a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with 3-1. I think
3-1. You're going 3-1.
Chris Wood will probably show us the next striker lesson.
When is the next one? Like a Thursday morning, is it?
Thursday morning. Yeah. Oh, God. Great news. We'll be back, people, Thursday morning. But yeah, comments of the day and shout out to the week.
I'm going to be really honest. I ain't got one. I've been so doom and gloom.
I hate
it's great. Don't worry, I got you, Lee. Don't worry. I got a couple. I mean, the comments this week, I couldn't work out if they were more angry at me for sipping my tea during the last episode or for my take on Ranieri. But people were pissed. People were pissed at me. But I've got 2 here that I like. I've got from Raji Kula 8085. Getting your comment read out, a beautiful, priceless moment. When it's Jordan and he forgets your name, absolute heartbreak. And on a similar theme, I've got Jeff Shreves 8216. Met Jordan at Highbury Islington Station yesterday. Told him how much I loved the pod and listened to every show. He then asked my name, to which I told it was Josh. He then proceeded to call me John for the rest of the conversation.
Do you remember that?
Sorry, John.
Do you remember that conversation?
Remember the conversation?
You know what? I do, but I don't think it was Highbury and Islington. I think it was King's Cross. I'm sure it was King. It wasn't Highbury and Islington. Listen, John, let me know. Let me know if it was definitely Highbury and Islington. I think you got the station wrong, but big up, John. Big up, John.
Big up John, big up Josh, whoever. I actually had that one from Jeff Shreves. Our King said something similar, saying Jordan radio, but for someone who actually works on radio, you'd think it'd have the names written down on something, but no, it gives the whole shout out and can't even remember the name.
It's
Love for
awesome.
the love from Kenya.
It is right. When someone does it, you just forget it, don't you? You can't help it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bad. I'm with you on that, Jordan. I'm with you on that. Plus, I'm getting old.
Any shout outs this week?
Well, the woman in Sainsbury's, but I'll leave that one for next week.
You leave that one for next week. Well, she works at Sainsbury's.
Yeah, man. Big fan of the pod.
Is it?
Yeah, man. Filipino lady. I forgot her name, obviously.
Yeah,
but she's like, yeah, man. She's actually was it Spurs or West Ham? I think she's a West Ham fan. But she's like, yeah, listen to the pod all the time. Love it.
So I'm going to say this, you know, keep coming up and saying, like, you know, that you like the pod and all that, because I absolutely love it when people come up and
yeah, man, me too.
Right, good kick on it, like, you know? And there are people, like, you know, you see the love. Like I had about 3 or 4 yesterday said, "I love the Fourever Arsenal, love it," like, you know what I mean? You know, and you just go, "Oh wow, thank you very much, appreciate that." Like, it's such a nice, it makes you feel good. And I tell you what, like, you know, the love yesterday, there was a lot of love after the game when I come out. With people coming up and saying things like that. You need that. Do you know when things are down, you need that little bit of a pat on the back sometimes. So thank you for everybody that come up to me yesterday and was friendly and all that. It meant a lot yesterday because I was so down yesterday. I was so down. And like sometimes you need picking up, boys. You need picking up.
And that's why I am the way I am, because no one ever comes up to me and says anything nice. So I don't get picked up.
Come on, community. Yeah. Show Turkish some love. Give him a hug. Say hello when you see him. Come on, man. Spread the love.
No, the community on the internet, they show love, man. Come on, man. Love for the love. But in person, I don't know.
But the irony is, Turkish people, when they come up to me to big up the pod, you're the guy they want to big up more than me.
Yeah, it gets like that.
Turkish. Oh, I don't know about that. I always get, is he really as miserable as that as in real life?
Is he really as, what, say that again? Sorry,
is he really as miserable as that as in real life? You know what I mean? I go, no. Listen, he's a nice guy, I say.
I'm decent. I'm decent.
As it happens, you're one of the, I'm going to say that you're one of the nicest guys that I've ever met. Come on.
Oh, let's not do this now. I'm angry, Lee, man. I'm frustrated. Let's not make me blush at the end.
We're like, do you know when we're in Turkish, it's a little bit like with Jordan as well. You just laugh at each other. You know, we might have had a little dig at whatever. There's just always that smile that he's got on his face now, and you guys, you know what I mean. So that's what makes us all so good, like, you know what I mean. So
that's what makes the pod what it is. Big up the community. Show love as always. Hit the like button as always. Make sure you subscribe as always. Big up Lee Judges TV. Whisper it loudly. Turkish LD and Gooniverse as well. James should still be bringing out content over in Australia, but I can't promise you that. I'm sure he is. Go over there, subscribe to, show him some love. Love for the love. We're at people. Peace.